What up, guys? This is your boy Lago and Duo. So I want to do a video here before, like I said, get into the series I wanted to do. Hope everybody had a good 4th of July. I went out of town to take care of some business again, so do some music and gain my company back up and stuff. So it came up promptly. So yeah, sorry for the 2 weeks of not having content, but I don't want to do a video of this. So I just want to talk about again Nintendo, which we'll use here. Why Nintendo Switch is the best gaming console ever. Now, I will say this: I don't think it's the best gaming console ever. And for those who that, if that's what you think, good. I don't personally think that, but I do think it has the best library that any other system has ever had because again, there are over 10,000 games on the Nintendo Switch. Once again, other than PC, other than PC, no other consoles come close to that. It has the biggest. I have to be honest. It has the biggest gaming library. It has the biggest indie library for consoles. It also has the biggest first party, second party library of ever. So I'm not knocking it for that. That is the truth, and I respect it for that. So it has that. The Switch has problems just like any, like you always say, there's no perfect anywhere. When it comes to gaming, it's a good console. It's a great console. I can see good. It's a great console. I play games, I'm having fun. Put it on the TV, put it carry with me. I like it. Hopefully the Switch 2, if that's what's coming out, that's what it is. Because everybody else thinking it's Switch 2. I don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. I'm just saying, whatever the consoles come out, it is. But again, this guy is gonna go into what I said. It's because of the games that make it really the greatest, and I'm not knocking that. But I think they should have taken, as usual, the Wii U, which they did with a lot more with the Wii U, sadly, than with the Switch. I wish they took more of the use it. Like I said, I like the 3DS because the 3DS used so many different ways. And the same thing I wish that the Switch took as well too, but it don't. So I get it. You take what you could take sometimes. So, but let's get into the video.
Demolishing the rest of the gaming industry with what is essentially a 10-year-old Android tablet, and how, after one of their worst home consoles ever in the Wii U, didn't
It was the worst whole console again, and he's gonna that I don't I keep people always kid with that. It was a great console, just again, Nintendo had its faults in the problem as I stated, but gaming industry went that route, and gamers went that route, and now you see how games are becoming what they are thanks to publishers and gamers doing stupid stuff.
Nintendo follow it up with what I will argue is their best system ever? And you know what? I'd even say potentially the greatest console ever. Now, I know what you're saying. Mark, you own stock in Nintendo. You're clearly a Nintendo fanboy. Or, Mark, you have man breasts. Why? But here's the thing, folks. This deep dive we're about to take is going to make all of those points pointless. The previous 36 years combined. I mean, that is absolutely insane. And I know some of you are going to be asking, Mark, what about inflation? Games are more expensive. Eggs are more expensive. Gas is more expensive. Your mom is more expensive. Whoa, 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 whoa. Kidding. She's still pretty cheap. But even when you adjust for inflation, the Switch generation still surpasses the previous gaming years of Nintendo, the past 36 years.
So yes, so this is what I talk about. So the Switch years give you 17.4 billion. All right, and from 1981 to that, yes. So if you take this, but here's the thing, though, Mark, as you stated right there, with inflation, let's see, let's do an inflation calculator. All right, let's do an inflation calculator and go with let's use the most recent. Let's use 2011, just to give it the fairness. All right. I will just use 17, so you can just extrapolate from that. Do I have it wrong way? FN, I purchased the item for and in here, same item would cost. Yep. Yeah, okay, inflation has gone. Then let me just flip it just to make sure I'm not messing it up. Because sometimes these calculators be weird. Let's see. Okay, so I had it flipped the wrong way. Okay. So it'll be 23. So extrapolate from that. If you take what he said, all this, it'll be 23 billion all the years over this right here. Still pretty cool that Nintendo did this. Now, these years right here is what people keep on, oh, it's a Wii U, it's a financial flop and all that stuff. This right here, and Nintendo has put this in there. You will go to their, I've showed a video already. I showed it in videos, of course. And I also been there. You go to their financial, Nintendo was doing a lot of purchasing, a lot of redirected, closing down buildings, building brand new buildings, building brand new studios for their studios. They were doing a lot of things that with how things has cost, including don't forget, for Japan, it hurt even worse because at that time, remember, the tsunami caused problems, and that also caused for, inflation and stuff for Nintendo. The people don't understand that, but of course, we don't. Logic don't fit in with other people. That's what caused the red mark, and Nintendo knew it. And they bounced back really great because they let the games talk.
At 17.4 billion US dollars to 17.1 billion US dollars. It's a lot closer, but it still just takes on by. It's just like, oh, these last 7 years, we're gonna just get a little bit of, you know what I mean? It's still significant. That means in 7 years, they made more money than they made in the past 36 years combined, even if you adjust for inflation. That just blows my mind. Still,
Not
this
really,
is just
like I
the
just
financial
said, but it's
success, though.
all right.
I would argue, and many of you would as well, that the nature of gaming, given it, profit alone isn't a significant signifier about how great
Sure.
a specific piece of hardware is to play games on. I mean, we all remember the Dreamcast. It was a failure financially, but it had some great games, and it was a fantastic
Same
time.
thing for the Wii
So
U.
how else could you measure a gaming console? Well, it's in the name. Games. And the Switch has games. In fact, it has 9 console exclusives that have already sold over 20 million units, one of
Yep.
which currently stands as the 6th best-selling game of all time ever, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe,
8.
at 70.4 million units sold. But perhaps the most astonishing stat is this. The Switch has 21 games with over 10 million copies or more sold, which is more than any other console ever. By a long shot. The next closest competitor is the
Is
Xbox
this.
360 with 11 total.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Switch has 21. Second place has 11. The DS with 10, the Wii with 9, noticing a trend there. The PS4 with 9, and the 3DS with 7. But again, let's just not talk about sales numbers. How good are the games? Well, if we take a look at the library as a whole, meaning not just current gen releases, but ports and games brought over via Nintendo Switch Online, 44% of the top 25 games of all time, according to Metacritic, are on the Switch. And
There you go.
40% of the top 50 games of all time are currently playable in the Switch. And 33% of the top 100 games of all time are on the Switch. And many of those are Switch exclusives that have launched since 2017. Because I know you PC gamers out there, which I am one of them, are going to be like, well, we can play everything. Great for you. Not everyone has like $2,000. No.
You don't need $2,000, but also it just nah. Like I said, exclusive sales. I like it, and I'm not gonna say, oh, well, we could emulate. Again, you're pirating. I know people don't like that. Oh, you're not pirating. Shut up. It's pirating. You take it whatever. I have, like I said, my PC that I'm doing this video on could play a lot of the games because it's jacked up. But I don't even do it because it's a feeling of having a console, sitting down in a chair. That's why when you see me do game and chill, I don't game and chill in front of a computer screen. I don't. I hook it up to my big screen TV upstairs, and I play for that. That's why I like it because it feels more better that way. Naturally, to be that way. I don't like the screen be up close to me like I am because that's just like to me. The PCBs work for me, and that's what I do. My music, my AutoCAD, architecture stuff like that. I need to see up close and do stuff. Yes. For that, no.
No one, I mean, some people, I had that money, but not everyone has that money. But what about just the slew of console exclusives on the Switch alone? The Switch has an insane amount of new releases for some of Nintendo's best classic IPs. We got 3 new Kirby games, 3 new Zelda games, and a ton of Zelda ports. A boatload of Mario sports games, which being honest, that's probably the weakest spot in the lineup.
I would give him that. Yeah, that is true. That is the weakest spot because of how Nintendo did it, and I think that was kind of bad, Nintendo, and that's his own problem. I'll admit to that.
Yet in terms of quality of the sports games, but still, I think Mario Tennis Aces is great. Ports of classic Mario RPGs like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door and Super Mario RPG Remake, 3 new Metroid games, a ton of Mario games, including 2 of my favorite of recent memory and Mario Wonder and Odyssey, 10 plus Pokemon games, 2 WarioWare games, and a ton of other first, second, and third-party exclusives like Fire Emblem, Xenoblade, Tokyo Mirage, Bayonetta 3 and Origins, Astral Chain, and so much more. It's insane. So how is this? How could one console have so many great games? And it's actually a simple answer. The Switch essentially combined what historically would have been 2 separate libraries for Nintendo, portable and home console. No longer is there a Game Boy and a Super Nintendo library, or a Game Boy Advance and a GameCube library, or a Wii and a DS and 3DS and so forth. Those 2 separate segments and developmental.
And don't get me wrong, those two segments kept gaming going through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So no slightly shade to none of that, because that is needed in that time and in the market. Sadly, everybody just is stick to their phones now. Mobile games are popping up. Everybody wants a mobile game situation. So, no, I'm not with that.
Efforts became one with the Switch. And this simple consolidation, I think, led to a lot of brilliant innovation and offerings for gamers everywhere. And what's crazy is just when you think, okay, the Switch is almost done, we're moving on, the second half of 2024 and early 2025 seem pretty much empty, boom, we got the most recent Nintendo Direct, and we're seeing the return of the legendary Mario and Luigi series, another brand new Zelda game, Metroid Prime 4. It's all looking strong, and some more epic ports and remakes are on the way. Again, it is insane. I almost feel like I'm drowning in games. I'm drowning. So even if you compare the Switch to the Wii, which as of now, the Switch.
And I'm going to put this here before I go on. Remember, the Nintendo Switch, like I stated before, I want to just point it out again why this is one of the best consoles ever. I'm not saying great. I'm not saying perfect. I'm not saying anything, but it's the best console ever from just, best console ever because of what game it is. Like he said, we play game. We're gamers because of games. We play games. That's what it is. Remember, Nintendo. Let me list off all the legendary things. Again, I'm doing it right now. Let me list off all the legendary things that the Nintendo Switch has done. that no other consoles have done and ain't ever gonna do. I don't even think the Switch 2, if there's a Switch 2, gonna do this. That's what I'm saying. It's not gonna do this. No. So, number one. Number one. I wanna bring this up here for a second. Okay, so let's list these things down. Write them down if you can, if you want to write them down. But these are facts, one, and two, these are also why the Nintendo Switch has done whatever. As everybody, this is why I'm going towards my series that I'm talking about, Generation N, where games are important. Another thing is, Nintendo consoles. I'm sorry, Nintendo Switch has the most diverse games out there. PlayStation have, and so is PC. I'm not knocking PC out of it. PlayStation have, PC has, but Nintendo always had the most diverse. Even in their first party, you have different types of games, and when you play, when you want to play, whatever. And I'm gonna do a video about the Nintendo Wii U games and Nintendo Wii U itself because I need to talk about that in this situation. But anyway, let's get down to the bare facts, okay? Nintendo Switch came out in an unprecedented year, in a year of being that it came out in March. Nintendo switched up the game. They switched it up. Everybody always leave it for Christmas. Nintendo said no, we're bringing it in March. March came up, it sold out. It was one of the fastest selling consoles to sold out. Now PlayStation will be kicking it up, but because of the parts and everything, that's a different story. But I'll give that as a caveat. And the thing though, Nintendo Switch came out with Breath of the Wild. Nintendo Switch is the first console had a reverse touch rate at launch, meaning that there were more people who bought Zelda than had Nintendo Switches. So it was beyond 100% attachment rate to that game. That's crazy. Two, Nintendo also released, well, we could count out, but I think they released, I'm thinking 9 or 10 first party games. No other consoles have done that in their launch year. Also, all those first and second IP, first party, second party IP, within the year, every one of those things, every one of those games sold 1 million. That's crazy. That's making money bank. All right, they did that. That year, also, Nintendo had one of the biggest launch libraries they had. Because people was like, oh, the third parties, everything. So if you put in third parties now, right? If you put in third party, here we go. Which is ridiculous. You know, Mario Odyssey, you know that was a million seller. Breath of the Wild, you know that was a million seller. ARMS, that was a million seller. You know the community fell off, and it was a new release, but a new release with a million seller, pretty damn good. Xenoblade, that was a million seller. Splatoon 2, that was a million seller. Mario Kart Deluxe, that was a million seller. Mario Rabbids Kingdom, that also was a million seller. Now, stupid that freaking Ubisoft messed it up by launching Mario Battle Kingdoms 2. It would have sold better because Nintendo told the Ubisoft, wait until our successor. But they're like, no, release it right now. So Ubisoft shot themselves in the foot with this nonsense. Super Clips. Now, it's a puzzle game, but it's a puzzle game. But it sold, also was a million seller too. It sold well. Fire Emblem Warriors, a million seller. 1-2 Switch, people didn't like it. A million seller. This did great. I don't know if this is a million seller, but this did great. And also the Street Fighter 2, or the Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That did well. All right, those are Nintendo's games. All right. Look at all these games though that came out for the Nintendo Switch that year. Sold very well. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17. So we do simple math. 15 times 3. 51 games came out. All these great games? No, let's not beat that. No, no, they weren't great games. Again, most of these were 51. That's Nintendo. I'm talking about Nintendo releasing this now. It's not a Switch thing. All the games I just listed off a Switch, some of these games came out on the 3DS. So that's what I'm being truthfully honest. Hey Pikmin came out on the 3DS, that came out 3DS. Stuff like that. But a lot of for the Nintendo platforms came out 51 flipping games. All right. But let's just put Switch. And most of these are basically also, they look like, also, let me double check to make sure, because no, it still didn't do it, because Leighton Mystery Journeys, where did, oh yeah, it did, oh yeah, that did came on the Switch. I am so crazy. So this is a little less, but still, point out. So we have great games coming out. They have over, we're gonna go to here, nope, here. Nintendo Switch has over, as the guy bought out, said it before, but they're over 22, basically 22 games that sold over 10 million, over 10 million, and they are I have the newer numbers. It's 67 really. There's 67 Nintendo Switch games, Nintendo games. This is Nintendo games only, basically owned by Nintendo or second party. That there's 67 games that sold over a million. But let's go with that. Let's go Perry. All right. So we have that Bayonetta 3, and this is Q of 2023. So this is further back. This is not current day. And that's why I say I have the current day numbers, but right now it's on my phone. My phone's downstairs, and I'm not going down there to get it. I'm doing this video just for clarity. So again, so look at your list, see your games, see what's going on. Toy Treasure Tracker, 2 million. Bayonetta 3, which is down there. Prime Remasters, 1 point. Again, and this is why like I said, the numbers have been updated. But again, this is why I said, my Metroid people, this Metroid, all y'all bitched about it. Now you get it. That and Dread being at 35. Dread should have been higher. For all the people who talk all the crap about it. CW 2 at 2 million. Mario Rush that y'all know, Pokemon Snap. Like I said, Octopath Traveler, second party game that they had, but now it's that. It was exclusive. Metopia, Marvel Alliance, again, that's on all cost. No, I think it's on all costs, so I guess that. But they sold millions. Now, Nintendo franchise games, we have 10 million. Games that sold over 10 million. Splatoon, Mario Party Superstar, Nintendo Switch Sports. A lot of people say, oh, but people bought it. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, great game, came out. See what it did. Bowers of the Fury, Splatoon 2, Luigi Matches 3, Pokemon Arceus, Brilliant Diamond and Pearl. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Ring Fit, which is deservedly of that. I was surprised he did 15 million. Good. New Super Mario Deluxe, Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, like I said, it got updated. Mario Party, crazy. Pokemon Scarlet, Violet and Sword and Shield. A lot of people don't like that. At least Sword and Shield wasn't broken. Super Mario Odyssey, Zelda, Smash, Animal Crossing, Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8. And right now, the Nintendo Switch is not backing down. Like he said, we got the June Direct just a while ago, and look all the games that are coming out. We have a lot of games this year. I bought a lot of games this year, and there's games I'm looking forward to until the end of 2024, maybe to 2025. As we see with Brotherhood and all the others, with all these games, I can't wait.
Which beats in every category. But the Wii is one of those other cultural touch points we could look at and say, hey, it truly reached a new zeitgeist. I mean, my great-grandmother was playing Wii bowling. The Switch is still going strong right now. It's almost done, and we still have a ton of great games to look forward to. The Wii, on the other hand, well, it existed. That's kind of all I can say. I mean, the Wii fell off stronger than a parachute with a failed ripcord. Okay? And then, well, it was followed by the Wii U, which had some good games, but was a failure all around. And there's reasons for that have been explored exhaustingly, so I don't want to focus on that.
Exactly, because that's why I said that. It didn't fail because it didn't have games. It failed because of marketing a little bit on Nintendo. Also, they should have pushed a little bit more. And also, gaming journalists and gamers and game developers messed it, just really stab Nintendo in the back.
Focus next on why I think Nintendo, through good times and bad times, the Wii U and the Virtual Boy, continues to simply just win. And that comes down to a very specific phrase that has manifested through the majority of Nintendo's hardware and software since the beginning. And that phrase is lateral thinking with weather technology, a term coined by Gunpei Yokoi, maker of the Game & Watch and eventually the Game Boy, which ultimately this phrase
and Troy and everything else. The Gunpei Yokoi, man, I wish you would. I wonder what would happen if he had still lived for this long. So it's really watch it. Let's see what happened. But I wish that still stayed, still alive. But Sarah.
means instead of pushing for the latest and greatest in hardware technology, Nintendo would prefer to use something more affordable and proven and leverage it in a new and innovative way. Again, if we look at the Game Boy, it essentially had a watch screen. It had a very simple non-colored LCD screen. That's it. And sure, the Game Gear had a fully colored screen, as did the Atari Lynx, but they all cost a lot more and they all failed in the critical part of having innovative and fun games. The Game Gear was discontinued after 7 years, and the Game Boy, 14 years. It was selling for 14 years. I mean, I had to look that up myself because I wasn't sure. I was like, that was 1989 to 2003. 14 years. And this philosophy is evident in the Wii, the DS, and the Switch. I mean, for the Wii, it was taking innovative but proven accelerometer technology and packaging it in with basically a GameCube, maybe a little bit better, but it offered an innovative way for people to play, for everyone. Same as the DS. The DS took touchscreens, which were proven for a few years now thanks to Palm Pilots and other early mobile devices, and pretty much tacked it onto an N64, again, offering a simple, innovative way to play. And all of these devices I'm mentioning did one critical thing. It expanded the gaming market. The Wii, heck, again, I know grandparents who still play Wii bowling. The DS, girls were interested in the Nintendogs and grandparents were interested in Brain Age. And what's most critical is they offered simple ways for the gamer to interact with the medium in general. And then comes the Switch. Smartphones were getting better and better. NVIDIA was working on some pretty nice system-on-a-chips with their Tegra processors, and Nintendo says, hey, let's release an affordable hybrid system. Let's not worry about groundbreaking 4K graphics because at the time, less than 44% of consumers had a 4K TV.
Also, here's the thing. I said it before. I've said it before with, I forgot his name, but the guy who took over for Gunpei Yokoi is with a T, and I forgot his name. And you could go to the Triforce where I talked about Gunpei Yokoi, whatever. I said Braveheart. I apologize. But Gunpei Yokoi had hybrid sketches and plans for what the Switches were. He had that back in 1998. And you want to know, and here's the best example of that. Remember, Sakamoto said he didn't know what to do after, how to do Dread because of, see how long it took Dread to come up the way he wanted it to be. Not because the technology, whatever, it's just that they had to wait to make sure things was just right and it's a feasible one and affordable too.
Well, let's take all of our learnings from the past in terms of simple ways to play and allow players to play anywhere. Let's just combine our markets. Right in the one. You hear that sound?
Yep.
That's the sound that whenever the handheld and the home went together. That's
Not
it.
really. Stop.
The idea of lateral thinking with weather technology enables Nintendo to achieve all of this. And the most important aspect simply being affordable. Gaming is primarily an activity for kids first and foremost, and Nintendo focuses on that. And when you have kids wanting a brand new gaming device, whether it's an iPad, a PS5, or an Xbox, or a PC, well, Nintendo's prices beat all of those. If you want to grow your gaming market and create new gamers, target the kids. It's also a
and the families, which I've said multiple times, and beat that horse to death. That everybody's, oh, again, I pointed out this already. Remember, back, the reason why Nintendo have families, and they did it in Japan too, and I understand it. It's for me. It's for you. It's for people who are listening to this. Nintendo know this, and I know this as a person too. If I focus on families, I don't have kids. But when I do get kids, their first console is not going to be a PlayStation. Sad to say, no. It's not going to be PC. Sad to say this too. I'm not even putting them on no damn tablet or phones because me and my wife don't talk about that. We ain't even doing that. It's going to be a Nintendo console. Be honest. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want the phone and tablets because I don't want my kid to be addicted to this crap like I see all other people's kids are. It's going to be a Nintendo console. And they're going to play. And they're going to move forward with that. That's what it is.
Pro for the developers as well. Oftentimes, when Sony or Xbox releases a new dev kit, much of the effort from the developers is spent thinking about simply how to utilize the new hardware. So, processors, anybody? But when you have something people are familiar with and they don't have to branch off into some new fidelity fetish approach to appearance, like how do we put more ray tracing in this game?
And that goes, and now finish up my thought. Like I let it go because, like I said, Paris is like what? Unless you're a gamer like me and him and everybody else, we know about ray tracing, we know all about this stuff. Moms don't know a lot about that unless they're gamers. And don't get me wrong, my sister's a gamer, and my wife's sister's a gamer and stuff like that. So they have it and they understand it. But here's the thing, though, we're gonna share our gaming to the young kids, and the young kids is gonna be Nintendo's next newest customer. That's what Nintendo did that for, and they're gonna understand fun over graphics to a degree. Not all the way, but to a degree. So that's why I said Nintendo was smart to go towards the family.
They can just focus on making a fun game. And again, that matters. It's the most important thing. Period. Time after time, we see this. That game doesn't have 60 frames per second, but it's fun and it's selling well. Listen, I like a game to be fast and smooth, but if it's fun, people are going to enjoy it.
Exactly.
In fact, all of this philosophy, I think, boils down to this point made by the former president Iwata. Quote, in the end, if the next generation of consoles only represents beefed up technology, there will not be much of a future. Video games are meant to be just one thing. Fun for everyone.
That exactly. And I do have that thing. I'm gonna talk about Iwata. I do have that interview that I want to go through as well too about Iwata. So keep an eye out for that as well too.
It is an absolute mic drop moment.
Yep.
I think we all miss Iwata. And when AAA gaming is pushing more and more of the same thing and costing more, also seeming less innovative in general, here's the Switch, which is again essentially a 10-year-old Android tablet saying, hey, play here. It's fun. It's cozy. It gets a little weird too.
Yep, exactly.
But it's a good time. So all of this, the fact that it has a ton of great games, it has a giant library of classics and new releases exclusive to the platform, and offers a very unique, innovative way to play everywhere. Plus, it's affordable. All of this are many of the reasons why I believe the Switch is not only the greatest Nintendo console of all time, but perhaps the greatest console of all time, period. Now, what about the future? Everyone's wondering if traditional consoles will stay around, and honestly, I do believe as much as Sony and Xbox are pushing cloud-based gaming and same day-and-date releases with PC, that they still plan to have a hardware business in the future. But what about the Switch's successor? How will that play into everything? Well, from what we know, the Switch 2 is supposed to be a conservative iteration on its predecessor, and that tells me we shouldn't expect anything truly different like when the GameCube went to the Wii, but rather a very similar hybrid device. Maybe there will be a new gimmick to it, but it's going to be a hybrid system, and I'll say now, it's going to have backwards capability. The library is too huge, too successful, and too important for Nintendo to leave it behind. But these are just my thoughts, and as I always say to my wife, I am often wrong, but always confident. So let me know your
Okay, okay. Well, I'll leave it to that. But he's correct in that regard as well too. Yeah, the Switch is what I want to switch to. I will do a video about that too as well. But that is what is needed right there. And I'm gonna. I've said before, you will see it in my next series that's coming up. Like I said, there's too. It takes too long to make. Look, I mean, Grand Theft Auto 6. Look how long that game's taking to do. 6 is taking 12 years. 12 years to get developed. Will it sell great? Yes, it has its cult. It has its people who like Grand Theft Auto, like that style of game. So I'm not knocking it. Not my cup of tea, but to each their own. But I'm not waiting 12 years for a game just so it could be realistic and this and all. And also, we know for sure half of that remember they made that game because of what? Oh yeah, I forgot all the microtransactions and everything else that people forgot about. They would Grand Theft Online and all stuff, but I digress that for sure. But this is like I said, I want to make sure Nintendo Switch has become a console that is awesome. Again, me personally, it is not my greatest console of all time. I love the Wii U for what it done, and I enjoy the games the way I've done with the Wii U. But I cannot deny the one thing that is very important to gamers. The games on the Switch is phenomenal. I would have never had a 200, I mean, at least 215 if you count digital games and everything. 250, yeah, 250 game console if library if it wasn't for the Switch. And I've never had so much special editions that I for the Switch and everything too. So again, the most important thing, the games. The games are what it is. That's, that's what make it a very great console. So with that said, this is your boy Liger. I bid you. I hope you guys enjoy your Nintendo Switch and also enjoy all your other consoles. Your PlayStations, your Xbox, your PC. Enjoy them. Again, I'm a Nintendo fan, but I'm a gaming fan as well too. And I don't like competition, and I do like diversity of games, so we could keep on growing the market. As video game right now is the biggest media in the world right now, but sometimes we can't push it and it could fall, and we'll because that could be the future pretty soon as well too. That said, remember there's no perfect games out there. What's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply enjoy your games on all consoles, including PC. Peace out.